everybody knows me for past life regression, but that is not all that we do in my sessions. We do so much more. So my name is Neoshi Green-Kebreau. I am a clinical and transpersonal hypnotherapist. I work with women and a few brave men who are on a journey to heal their soul, break through blockages, and align with their divine purpose. In this past life party today, we will be visiting 2 past lives, the life in between lives, and 5, 10, and 20 years into the future. Every time I do a past life party, I lose some of y'all, meaning somebody falls asleep. Who it's going to be, I have no idea. I won't even know you're sleeping because when you're in hypnosis, it looks like you're sleeping, but you're not. So I say that to say, do not fall asleep. I hope y'all got some sleep last night. Get comfortable, as many blankets, any pillows that you need. All I need to see is your face. You will be shown exactly what you need to see today. And 1, you try and open it, but it's impossible. The more you try, the deeper you go. And notice if you feel male, female. And allow that scene to play out. Notice what happens next there. In a moment, I'll begin bringing you out of this hypnotic state. Before I do, know that the lives you were shown today, know we only visited those lives to help you obtain information you needed. Welcome back. Don't feel pressure to share, only if you want to share.
And all of a sudden, I just see myself there with all white head wrap, white garb in this forest, right? So I was feeling like I was supposed to be picking like berries or something, but I could never see like anything that I was. And then I just hid behind a tree. And then after I hid behind the tree, the next scene was somebody was picking me up off the ground. I guess I passed out and they laid me on a table. And then from that scene, I went back to like I was cooking in this big cauldron for like a lot of people. But it's this little boy, he was just standing there and he was just looking at me, but it didn't feel like, you know, he was my child or anything. Everybody was enjoying themselves. He wasn't mad. He wasn't angry. He was just looking. And then there was this man beside him. And I think I told the man, protect our children. And then the next scene, it was gone. Then we came back. I was back at that same scene again, but this time we was in a like an African village, like a hut scene. And it was this real tall man. We weren't saying anything to each other. I was just following him. And then that scene went away. Then I was back in the forest, just standing there, just looking around like, what is happening? Then I went to a scene where I died. I guess I was dying. The man put a towel on my head and he was sitting on the side of the bed and that scene just went away. And I was back in the forest again. I was like, what is happening? So I have to do me a one-on-one section because we got to unpack this, honey.
I couldn't really see myself. I could just see what was going on. It was some white men telling me I had to do something. I don't know what I needed to do, but I was scared to do it. I was scared that I was going to mess it up. And then I got where I was actually a man. So I'm guessing I was in a castle or a big building. So I'm thinking I was a part of a royal family, and I was judging people, like looking down on them like you fucking idiot. Pretty much that kept on playing out in my head. Like I kept on saying, "Fucking idiot, you fucking idiot." I died alone. I saw where I was betrayed and I had children. It felt as if I was living like in a jungle. I know that I would like to do a session as well.
My name was Hannah in my past life, and it was like a pilgrim. I had like on a white, I'm not sure, like a hat, and I was dressed in black, but my skin tone was lighter, like I was more whitish. And my sister's name was Addie, and she was the witch, and I was a healer, and she crucified me on a cross because she didn't like me, because I was like so nice to everyone and she didn't understand that. So when you said go back to your past life, another past life, I kept going there and I see burning and I see fire. I felt scared and I didn't understand. Somebody in the crowd said, follow her, like she's going to come back again. We need to make sure like she doesn't succeed in life. But I do have to do a one-on-one session because I need help.
When it came to the first past life, I remember I don't really know like the full in deep details. I just kind of got like a broad visual of what really happened and what came to me. It did kind of give like Egyptian vibes a little bit because it kind of seemed like it was like a sandy desert kind of environment I was in. And it kind of like, I won't say it was like a cartoon kind of filter that was over it, but it definitely gave like that past life Egyptian kind of visual that came to me. And I just remember like wearing this tan kind of tube top and the skirt and being on a chariot with two people behind me. And it was like we were protecting the land. And it seemed like it was a land that mostly women lived in, or it was ran by women. So we were protecting the land from this darker entity. Like, I can't say if it was human or what it was, but I know I was on the chariot. We were chasing this darker entity out of the land that we owned. And it wasn't necessarily my land. Like, I was coming to help the women that lived in that land. I'm not sure exactly like what happened, but I know that we won the battle. Like, we were able to save their land.
I was actually entering into a beautiful forest. So as I came into the forest, I was on a large deer with large antlers, and I was wearing white African attire. And on the back of my African top, there was a phoenix on the back of it. And there was also a woman with me as well, but I couldn't see her face. And there were lots of animals around me. They were all drawn to both of us. At times, the design on the back of my white top would change into a dragonfly, which is my favorite animal. There was large lights that I was traveling to. The last scenario was I was in a room. There were 3 boxes, and I was about to open it up, but you said to wake up.
This was a great experience. I want to say that, like, at one point in time, it was like this huge woman, goddess, angel. She had long hair. She was like a giant compared to me. And she would give me a key in my hand and close my hand, but I wouldn't leave. So it's like I saw that was telling me like that's the key to go, but I would just stand there and just wait with her and just wanting to be like comforted like a child.
And that when I seen some tribal old men, and their skin and stuff was type maybe like an old Chinese or Indian type of culture of people. I was a woman that was sacrificing my babies. They was doing rituals. Like I seen them like in all white, like powdered white type of situation. And the ladies was dancing, and it was actually like the ladies that were cutting into my stomach and taking my babies from me. Like I was a person, I guess, from the tribe that was having babies for the people. I'm not for sure, but I actually felt that pain in my stomach. I'm surprised you didn't see me like clenching my stomach or even crying. So I'm definitely going to have to do a session. Of course, everybody going to say that because they want to dig deeper into what's going on, but I got to tap into.
So in the first scene, I was a woman, and I looked like I was in like my late 20s or early 30s. And I was at this market, and I remember I was with my son. And he was young, like maybe like 5. And I was out to go get dinner for my family. And there was like a war going on in the village. And they had came and attacked because some outsiders were trying to like take over the village. And I remember I told my son to go run and hide. And someone had caught me, and they stabbed me in the heart with a spear. I remember I had on brown sandals, a long like white creamish dress, and then my hair was covered. In another scene, I was in like a home, and there was a whole bunch of family. My grandma was there. I think it was either a grandma or a great grandma, and she was dying. She was like getting older, almost out the door, and she was like a medicine doctor or something, or like a village healer. And we were like celebrating her last days on earth. And then when she finally passed, we were like celebrating her death and stuff. And it was like a huge festival, and it was going on for her. And I remember there was a man there. I think he was a husband for me. And he was just like comforting me and helping me and stuff throughout the whole process. And then the other scene I remember was I was a little girl, and I was working on a farm with my father. I just remember I was holding his hand, and he was teaching me how to take care of the land, basically. And the life in between, it looked like I was just like up in clouds. And I remember I was just sitting down at this table, and I was by myself picking my present life. But I knew either my spirit guides or my spirit team was there helping me.
But I just felt like I was floating. Then I felt that floating felt like I was in like surrounded by liquid, like water or something. Or maybe I felt like I was in my mom's womb or something. I went to a scene where I felt like I was an older child, maybe 8, 9 years old, I guess in New York or the East Coast somewhere. I was hanging out with some boys, and I know I shouldn't have been hanging out with them. That scene, it was just them started throwing rocks at me. One of the rocks hit me in my head, and that's where I died in that scene. I saw the boys, they were scrambling and saying, "You shouldn't have did that," and, trying to hide it, and they all ran away, and I was just laying there in the street. I would love to take a session. So
to go deeper into that.
When we were first kind of going in, I don't know if it was a boy or a girl, but I just remember seeing like some beautiful eyes. I heard a voice tell me that, and it was a woman that told me that she couldn't show me now. I just kind of felt like I needed to be obedient. That voice telling me that I didn't need to see now just really made me feel like, okay, this is something that I clearly need to rebook and do it another time.
I think also I can be a very analytical person. And so every time I felt myself going into the, but is this, we kind of saw a movie like this, you know what I mean? I felt like there were different like reassurances that were just like, no, like you're crying, like, you know, this is very personal. So there were a lot of like different things I think that just kept pulling me back to like focus. And it was just really, really interesting. Like the way I experienced everything was very real. It was like I was there. I think one of the first things I noticed that really stuck out to me was that my eyes have been the same in all my lives. And it like took me back. Like when I first saw it, like I swear I like audibly gasped because I was just like, those are my eyes, like on this woman and this woman, like this is me. And I think that was like my realizing, yeah, it was just amazing.
First thing that I can remember was it felt like I was a grown man. All I remember is just kind of standing still in the middle of a road, hot, just like dry, hot sun. And I was large, not exactly giant, but quite large. I remember seeing beard and whatever, pretty soft hair. And I was just standing around like, I don't feel comfortable here. I don't feel right. I don't like what I'm seeing. And I think it has to do something with enslaved people. I feel like I seem to be being carted around, and I was like, this is not right. I do recall seeing a woman kind of in the background, a young pretty girl staring at me lustfully. The next one I went into, I was a little boy on a porch of a plantation house, just very free and carefree. I was in Louisiana, and this is significant to me because for whatever reasons, I always feel pulled towards Louisiana. I've never been, not even to the States or anything like that. I'm not from America. But for some reason, I'm always pulled towards anything Louisiana culture. Never understood it. I was carefree, but all of a sudden I started to pick up like something was wrong here again. And I don't know really how to put it into words. It's kind of like in my subconscious as a child that I could see my mother being beaten and raped, treated really badly. And all I heard was, you need to get out of here, run away. I was little, maybe 4, no older than 4 years old. Had no idea where to go, but all of a sudden it switched to me. You told us to switch scenes. I was an older man in my own garden. It was a large acres of garden. And again, I was alone. I was sitting on a little tiny stool that's close to the ground. So when people tend to their gardens, the older people, they could just kind of put their hands down. I was tending to my large garden. And all of a sudden I had a heart attack. I died of a heart attack. I had a daughter come from the house. She said, Daddy, and she came running over to me. I was slowly falling off the stool, clenching my chest, and her husband followed behind her. And then another one, I was a Samoan sailing. I was laying on the beach with the waves crashing at my feet.
It almost to me feels like I was cycling through everybody else's experiences instead of my own. Like Clarence, when he said he was in the forest with a woman, where I saw that. The best way I can explain it is I saw things, but I knew they weren't mine.